In this series, we're looking at the most profitable, the best companies of Norway. And what you see here is a company that is among the biggest and best companies of Norway. You see it here in the capital return here. Very good figures, and the profit is really growing also year by year, as well as revenue. Just fantastic numbers, and I'll show you which company this is shortly. But this is not a public company, but it's possible to become a shareholder. And I think that the shares are undervalued, how they are trading now even. And if we would say a closer to fair value of this company, I believe we would have one of the biggest companies of Norway here, actually. Among these ones, I believe it is really bigger than Telenor, bigger than Hydro, and Mowi, the biggest salmon producer, which Norway is very famous to have here. Not bigger than DNB, I believe, and certainly not bigger than Equinor. But the company we will have a look at here, it's I think it's one of the biggest ones we have in terms of the amount of profits they make, and maybe in the future really one of the bigger ones because I think that this really can grow as well, profitably. And it's Jotun. They are known for their production of paint, mainly for shipping, for the coating of the ships, because of they have really high quality of their production, and as well as paints for decorative painting, for houses, but also mainly from maintenance of buildings and ships, and they are really profitable, as you see historical figures. 33% return on capital employed, 23% return on equity, and their operating margin is close to 20%. And they've had this for many years, and I believe it's because they are having such a good quality of product and a very good brand that it really deserves a higher price, in my opinion, also. And it has a very good track record of profitability, as you see here. It's I think this is maybe the best company in Norway, one of the bigger ones. But it's not so well known. But it's possible to become a shareholder indirectly through a public company in Norway called Orkla. They own roughly 43% of the company, I believe. That's a way to get ownership here, and also maybe contact a shareholder directly if you know a shareholder who would want to sell. Here you see the sales figures in blue. It's a really amazing growth, and the profits measurement here, it's also really growing. And I believe that they've had a pricing power for a long time, and the employees have started to see it. I think they started to try and increase the prices. Here you see, since the pandemic here, you see a sudden burst of revenue growth, perhaps in 2022 especially. I think the management was writing in an interview in the financial newspaper of Norway that it was the employees who noted that they were able to charge more for the paint because the customers, I guess it doesn't make sense to switch to a lower product when they are among the biggest one for shipping and maintenance of ships. And it doesn't make sense. The paint is not the real cost. I believe the labor and how many years the coating will last, that's the most important thing. So that's a good investment for the shipping industry to use the highest quality here, I believe. And that you see it in the long-term figures here. And, we can see the operating revenue has more than doubled in 10 years. You see the operating profit, I believe, because of the pricing power and good brand, they have more than 3x the operating profit. It's really strong growth when you see such figures over 10 years. And they have done so with high profits on capital, on equity capital. And maybe we'll have a look at the tangible equity capital also, but I don't think they have... we'll have a look if it's even more profitable if they grow organically. I think it's mostly organically growth. But let's have a look. You see that the equity itself here, it's roughly 22 billion Norwegian crowns, and the profit before tax is close to 6 billion. So you see it's really high profits here compared to the capital needs. And then again, it has lots of capacity to pay dividends to the shareholders. This is the 2024 annual report, and you see their operations are in more than 100 countries, and they are producing the paint mainly themselves, as they have 40 production facilities all around the world, but not so much in the United States. None at all, I believe, but a lot here in Southeast Asia, and they're big in Europe. 10,000 employees worldwide. And I believe there's already strong brands in the United States, but around in the rest of the world, maybe Jotun is the biggest, best quality brand out there. I'm not sure, but they have really good sales figures internationally, except in the United States. Their sales segments are 36% decorative paints. They are leading paint supplier for commercial buildings and public buildings and homes. And they service both professionals and also homeowners. So private homeowners can go and buy this paint, and yes, they have to pay the highest price for the paint, but it makes sense if the paint lasts longer on the houses, because it costs a lot in time and in labor to paint a house. So why not have the best paint? Because that's maybe, in my opinion, maybe it's less than a fifth of the total cost when you have such a project. And then maybe 70-80% work. So that doesn't make so much sense to try and save 20% on the paint cost. And you see 29% are protective coatings. That's for on and offshore oil and gas facilities, power generation, important buildings here to protect against corrosion and keep them good quality here, and protective against high temperature. And then a very big segment here is marine coatings. It is the market leader globally in marine coatings, and that's a very good position to be in, I believe. There's so many ships that need to have maintenance here, and they are developing something interesting here when it comes to product that will... I've seen it developed here and there, that they have this remote operated vehicle that will go along the hull of the ship and paint and maintain the ships. And since they have such a high market share of marine coatings, if they can make that process and have it as an upsell to add these machines and you only use their paint, I believe that's a massive growth opportunity for Jotun and the shareholders here. There is already this technology, but since Jotun has they are the global leader in marine coatings, then if they can do this paint work more with machines, I believe they are in a really strong position to get those sales, at least a share of it. And the minor segment here is powder coatings, which is used for making building components and different furniture, appliances, etc. So that's it. A third in decorative painting, a bit less in protective coatings and marine coatings. And that's the big business here. You can have a look at this report yourself if you find their website. And you see here a picture that shows the very important segment for Jotun and for the whole world to keep these assets maintained, and they don't have to take them to the dock that frequently. Here you see the management. They are it's a Norwegian family that has been owning this, and it's not so easy to be a Norwegian shareholder because of wealth tax, I believe, but as long as this company is kind of not being public, I don't think they want to have it public because of wealth tax, for example. It will be much more wealth tax for them then, so it's better to keep it unlisted maybe. But I think that's the idea, but it's possible to become a shareholder through Orkla, which is the big conglomerate that owns all the big brands in Norway, that has the majority of the production and the brands of food products and all the household products of Norway. That's a good place to be, I think. I don't think we will see more in the notes here now. I think the video is long enough. So if this was interesting and we would have and follow this series, we look at the best companies of Norway with the moats or the competition advantages that will, they can protect themselves from competition. That's our focus on this channel. If you like that kind of content, give it a like, please. And when this channel grows, if you watch the videos, it will grow more. And we'll try to open up a community and we'll look for these kind of companies together. And see, maybe we can get some shares for our own here and be long-term investors in those kind of companies that are the best when it comes to having a competitive advantage. Thank you for watching all the way until the end of the video. I appreciate that and hope to see you in the next one.